Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's attorney Chris Waggener. I'm a personal injury attorney based out of the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Florida, and I'm going to do another Reacts to Cops video. So let's get right into it.
Doing our best for the good people that work and live in this neighborhood.
I copy.
Copy.
All right, so we got a
Up here
cop
on the
just out
right,
on
it looks
patrol.
like a male and a female in some sort of a heated verbal argument. He's acting really strange. Wow, it really looks like he's amped up. I'm going to see if I can watch him here for a second, see if anything else transpires.
Okay, so let's talk about this for just a quick second. This cop seems to be out on patrol. Doesn't seem like he's gotten any calls from dispatch about anything that's going on. He's just out looking around, and he sees this unfolding in front of him. Now, police officers, they don't need a warrant to just walk up and talk to you. They don't need some kind of exigent circumstances or some kind of an exception to the warrant rule to come up and talk to you. They can just walk up and talk to you. Now, the difference between them just walking up and talking to you and them seizing you and doing an investigation is you can decide, hey, I'm done with this conversation. I'm walking away. So right here, he's not doing anything wrong, but at the same time, this police officer is being smart and he's waiting and watching. He wants to see what's going to happen because just having an argument in a parking lot, there's nothing illegal about that. Freedom of speech, right? You can do whatever you want to. But he is concerned because this guy is being very aggressive right now. You can just tell about the guy's body language. He's worried that something more is about to happen. So he's going to sit here and watch them. I imagine that if nothing more happens and he does make the approach, it's going to be under what's called the community caretaking exception. He's allowed to make contact with them to just kind of make sure everything's okay. Hopefully his presence will just diffuse this whole situation.
On patrol, we saw a couple here a minute ago.
He needs to get out and make contact.
They're involved in some sort of heated altercation.
Because when that man sees this police officer, he's going to stop doing whatever it is he's doing. Okay. All right, so that's an assault and maybe a battery.
Put the car in park.
All right, so real quick, let's talk about assault and battery. I don't know what jurisdiction they're in here, but in Florida, assault, more or less, I'm not going to give you the exact legal definition because I haven't practiced criminal law in a long time, but an assault is basically putting somebody in imminent fear of bodily harm. In other words, if you threaten them with something, either just by your words or like you take a baseball bat and you pull it back, that's assault. If you don't actually follow through and hit them. Now, if you make contact, like say the same thing, you swing and you hit them with the bat, that's a battery, okay? And in that situation where you have a weapon in your hand, it's going to be felony battery. So in this situation, she's using the car, right? She's using the car and she's backing up and she hit him with the car because the door was open. So that could be a charge for battery right there.
Put the car in park.
Even if it didn't really hurt him that bad. It just has to be unconsented to touch him.
3 North 43. It's going to be 2 times. HMA, HFA, 953 inside the commercial center.
So, and this cop witnessed this happen too. So he has reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed at this point.
Don't touch that.
So he's going to be able to conduct an investigation.
Put all that out in front of you. Put the smoke down.
All right. So you see how he's got his gun drawn and he's got the flashlight out. I'm not really, I mean, I guess he's got the flashlight out to see better. I don't really understand what he needs to see. The parking lot seems well lit. Also, he's got the cops' cameras there, so they're going to have lights also. The gun seems a bit extreme to me. I understand that there's 2 individuals and he's only 1 police officer. So, you know, officer safety is always of paramount concern, not only to the police officers, but also to society at large. Like, we don't want cops getting hurt if they don't need to be getting hurt. So he's going to try to protect himself, but pulling the gun seems a little bit extreme to me. And then also on top of that, I understand that the man was the one that was being physically aggressive before the car backed out. But just by my observation, it looks to me like the woman is the one that's committed the crime right now. This guy's just gotten mad at her. And while, you know, typically it's the man hurting the woman when you've got domestic violence altercations, which is probably what this cop's operating under. He's thinking this guy's probably going to hurt her or he already has hurt her. But just looking at the evidence that's been presented to me, to us, she's the one that used the car as a weapon to try to knock him over. So I think she's the one that's right now committed a potential crime.
Keep your hands out in front of you. Right here. Right out in front. Turn the car off. Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Come over here.
Hey,
Leave the baby there. Step out.
So you see how he's walking away from
I
the car,
understand that.
the hood of the
Put your
car?
hands back where I told you.
Right, so that's an issue, right?
Step out of
This
the
guy's
car.
not listening.
Leave your
He's not
smoke
keeping
in the
his hands
car.
there. He's trying to get
Come
control
around
of the
here.
situation with both the woman and the man.
Get the
And this guy's taking his hands off the hood of
Time
the
out.
car. That could be
Let me be in,
that's a
let me
problem.
be in charge for a minute.
Well, look, that's my baby.
She almost ran you over.
No. She accidentally pushed on the gas.
Let me get to the bottom of it. Put your hands on the front of the car like I told you. I'm not going to tell you again.
Yeah.
Step to the front, ma'am. Step over here to the
So
front
he's
of the
going to
vehicle.
arrest her for
You know,
attacking
the
him in
left
the
side
car.
of him.
So he's making the right move.
Keep your hands on the front of the car. Sir, let go of the hat. Step back towards me. Any weapons on your person?
I don't even know. I don't think so.
Until you know for sure. That's why these handcuffs are going on, okay? You understand why?
All right, so I've said this before, and it comes up fairly frequently, is that a police officer can make a detention of a person without arresting them just for officer safety. So in this situation, it sounds like he, at least at this point, has no interest in arresting the man because of like what I just said. The woman's the one who committed the battery and potentially the assault. She is likely about to get arrested for battery. Now, in order for this police officer, since it's only one guy, and the man that he just put in handcuffs is obviously aggressive and not really listening to him. When the police officer asked this guy, "Hey, do you have any weapons on you?" He said, "I don't even know. I don't think so." The possibility that there could be a weapon in combination with the fact that this guy is being highly aggressive and highly emotional and not listening makes total sense for him to put him in handcuffs because that will keep him from being any more trouble. Now, even though he's not arrested, he's just being detained right now while this cop kind of gets the situation under control and really kind of figures out what's going on here and what he wants to do with this woman.
I came by here and stopped you, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was just driving by. You were a bit heated. And what do we see?
Well, see, it wasn't even that. It was really who picked up the payment for the bill. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And usually I pay for the bill, but she want to pay for the bill. I'm the man of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I should pay for the bill.
Arguing over money.
So that's what the whole argument was about, is over bill payment?
Yeah.
Okay. Step back up.
Not
over
worth
here
going
for
to
a
jail
second.
over.
All right. You pregnant again, ma'am? Tell you what, we're going to take this purse off you real
Yeah,
quick.
she's pregnant. Good grief.
Do you have any weapons on your person at all? Okay. All right. You know what? Just
Come
put
on,
your hands
man.
down.
Just let it
You
slide.
can't
You
pat
don't
her
need to take her
down,
to jail.
You know that, yeah?
I can pat her down however I want.
I don't have
Just like I
anything
patted
on
you
me.
down.
Rod,
No, you can't. No.
Rod, I just want to get my baby home, okay?
All right.
I do too.
All right. We're going to make this.
No, I'm just saying. my
Listen-
baby
You're
is
making
back
this
there.
worse.
Listen to me.
I'm not making it worse. My baby is in back of the car. She's probably
Okay.
scared.
We're going to make the situation safe
So there's
first.
a kid in the car too,
Where's
which
your
does make it
idea?
worse.
I got no idea.
Okay.
So here's how it can get worse. It can actually get a lot worse. If this police officer does decide to make an arrest of the mother and the father together, that means that the child's going to have to go into protective custody, and DCF's going to have to get involved, or at least in Florida, it's called the DCF. So it's the Department of Children and Families. They are the government organization that is responsible for handling matters like this. The child obviously can't go to jail with the mother, so they have to separate the mother from the mother and the father. Even if, unfortunately, the mother only goes to jail for let's just say a couple of hours while they process her and they just release her. If no one can come and get the kid, and frankly, I don't know the exact specifics around it. I just know that DCF will have to come and take the state will have to come take control of the child, which is just it's a nightmare scenario for anybody over a bill pay.
Whatever you find in there, I'll spend it.
Hopefully, I understand what this woman did. But when you're in this industry and you see these domestic issues like this all the time, it's always tough. Every case is different. Every situation is different. But when there's a child involved like this, and we don't know how old the child is yet, they haven't shown. So hopefully young enough that it won't remember any of this. But this cop, hopefully, and he seems like he's got his head squared on pretty straight, or it seems like he's got his head screwed on pretty straight. Hopefully he might let this one slide. Now, if they find more stuff and he searches them and he finds drugs or weapons or whatever, he may not let it slide and they may have to go to jail. But right now, I'm kind of hoping that this guy's just going to kind of let it go, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the father isn't going to want to press charges against the mother. But, He's got good facts for a battery.
What's in there?
Holy smokes.
Oh, for sure.
Wow,
I'm already knowing.
That's a lot of drugs.
What's in there?
All kinds of narcotics.
Yep.
It's
Well,
mine.
they're all
Let's
going
go
to
to
jail,
jail.
and that kid's getting taken.
I'm ready.
Good.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Dad, I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Sorry for what?
I love you.
Huh?
I love you.
I love you too.
Sit here in a second.
For sure.
Oh, she's crying.
All right. Ma'am, I'm going to do my best to get you on out of here, okay? What is your relationship with him?
My ex-boyfriend. There's a reason why he's my ex-boyfriend.
Okay. You want to tell me a little bit about it real quick?
Well,
I mean, you're out with him tonight, and that's his baby, and that's your child.
We're trying to go have dinner. Have a good night.
This is crystal meth. Looks like little crystals. You put this and all of these in this container are crystal as well. You throw the spoon in, all these little individual bags, and there you have crystal methamphetamine distributing for sales.
All right, so let's talk about this for a quick minute because there's a difference between possessing drugs and selling drugs, right? And the state, whenever this does reach the state attorney's desk, has to make a determination, do I have enough evidence to sustain a claim, a charge for possession with intent to distribute, i.e. selling drugs, right? And so the facts that surround this, because, they haven't gone up to this guy and directly asked him, hey, are you selling drugs? Or to her, frankly, they could ask her as well. But if they deny it or they exercise their right to remain silent and they don't say anything, then the jury would have to make a determination: is this enough? Is all of these baggies, the amount of the drugs, the fact that they're in these separate containers, is that enough to draw a conclusion that beyond a reasonable doubt, these two people are selling drugs? Now, my guess, just looking at this, I would say the state's going to have a strong argument that they are selling drugs. I mean, look how many baggies there are. There's dozens of baggies there. I've seen possession of drugs with intent to distribute sustained on much less than this. Another classic thing that the police tend to find in drug sales cases are scales. Like they're weighing the drugs. Then there's also baggies, so they're going to weigh the drugs out, put them in the baggies, and then sell them to whoever comes along. The multiple containers there also, that's all evidence that this guy was selling the drugs. So, and this guy sounds like he's going to just take the fall for it. There could be an argument that both of them were doing it. But it sounds like he's gonna step up and take the charges.
All right, Roderick, you understand what you're being arrested for? Trafficking methamphetamine? You clear about that?
Yeah.
Okay. My partner here is going to transport you downtown. Just sit up here for a second. My partner's going to transport you downtown. Going to take good care of you. Do you have any questions for us at all right now?
No.
All right. Well, you got a lot to think about. I know your lady's pregnant and everything like that. You might, I don't know. You might want to think about.
I'm good.
Well, I know, but you might want to think about changing your ways.
Well, I know. I tried tonight, but it's all right.
Okay. All right. We're going to get you on your way right now. Here we go.
There's always tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a new day.
This car right here. All right, have a seat.
All right, Jennifer. Let me go ahead and give you your license back.
Oh, I
Okay.
was going to forget all about that.
All right. For your cooperation and everything else is the only reason why you're going home tonight. You know what I mean?
I know.
I mean, you could have been caught up in this mess much, much worse.
Not only
You've cooperated.
hurting him
You
physically, but
well, I'm just telling you.
Well,
You
kid's
need
face
to really
out.
think about some of your life's choices. You've got a clean record. And you seem like you got somewhat of a decent, good head on your shoulders. You don't need to be caught up in any of this, narcotics trafficking that's going on with boyfriends. And you get caught up in the middle of this, you wind up going to jail. Your child's going to wind up going into protective services. And what we're even more lucky is that you didn't run him over tonight. I know you weren't trying to. You're just trying to get away. But my goodness, it really raised my blood pressure. Anyhow, I'm glad it all worked out. Nobody got hurt.
All right, so my final thoughts on this one are that I thought this cop did a really good job of just kind of like letting the facts develop in front of him and letting the investigation go where it needs to go. In my opinion, this is how cops need to do their jobs. This was a good drug bust. But it didn't start out that way, right? It started off with him just driving around and he sees, what looks like citizens in distress. And he just watched. And as it developed, the lady backed up in such a way as to hurt the guy. And granted, it wasn't that much, but it was enough to raise to the level of an arguable battery, and frankly, a felony battery, because she used the car as a weapon. Cars are weapons if used in the right way, which it was here. That's enough for him to make a stop. That's enough for, frankly, him to make an arrest of the woman. Now, as he began to do his investigation, he did do a search, which uncovered a large amount of drugs, or what we assume is drugs, and what also were a lot of baggies, which blindingly obvious looks like they're selling drugs. So who's selling the drugs? Well, when he made that question, the man immediately said, "It's mine," and he just took the fall for all of it. So once the child became a factor as well, to me it seemed that the police officer exercised his discretion as a law enforcement officer, because initially he even said it, she was going to go to jail. But once they found the drugs and they found out that it was a drug, like they were selling drugs, and then the guy took the rap for it, he could take both of them into custody, charge the man with the intent to distribute, charge her with the battery, and then take the child into custody. But instead, what he did was, it sounds like he let the woman slide on the battery, took the guy in for the felony drug possession, which is much more important. Also, then you avoid traumatizing the child by taking the child away from the mother and putting the child into the system. So, it seemed to me like the cop did a really good job on this one. I'm impressed with this police officer here. And yeah, so that's my take. What did you think? Do you think the stop was bad? Do you think the fact that the cop didn't take the woman into custody, even though he had he definitely had legal recourse to do so, was a good call? If you're applying the law perfectly evenly, if he saw her committing a crime, he should have taken her into custody, and then the kid would have been taken into the state's custody. So if you disagree, comment below, let me know, leave me a like, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.